Welcome to the Happy, Healthy Life Podcast with your hosts, Rob and Randy, who reveal the truth, the lies, and confusion about health so that you are no longer the victim to mainstream medical dogma and you are the hero to your own happy, healthy story.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Happy Healthy Life Podcast with your host, Rob and
Randy.
And we are
The Happy Healthy Guys.
All right,
What is up, everybody? Yeah, party. Are we going to party?
We're going to have a great party today.
With our guest, for sure, we're going to party today. I guarantee you.
Absolutely. So we have an amazing guest today for you. He is somebody who has been a renowned speaker in the world of health and fitness, like for a long time.
Yep.
And so really, you know, he's one of those people that people look to him in the fitness industry to get answers from. And so it's going to be great to be able to have a conversation with him today. He is one of these people that is completely committed to dispelling any myths in promoting information decision making. Okay. Literally just getting you to actually think for yourself when it comes to health and wellness. And so he's a trusted voice in the fitness community. So we have our guest today, Dylan Gamelli. And he's gonna give it to us today. We just want to say thank you for being on today and welcome to the Happy Healthy Life.
Pleasure to be here, guys. You guys already know how much I love you, and I'm really keen to help out the audience and kind of give them maybe a little different side of things that they maybe don't get all the time, and dispel any kind of nonsense that may be out there. So whatever I can contribute, I'm happy to do.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's one of the things that I love about you is you don't mind disrupting, which is near and dear to both of our hearts. And you also, man, are thirsty for knowledge, man. You are so, you read everything. You listen to, I don't know how many podcasts. You bring so many like elite people onto your own podcast. But what I love about you is you're still humble because you're still in the game and you're wanting to learn and grow. So I'm excited to kind of give our audience a peek behind the curtain with kind of your background. You're working in the bodybuilding community and kind of a little bit of a transition that you're making that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But anyway, man, why don't you kind of give our audience a little bit of your background, man? Where kind of how you cut your chops and what you're doing right now, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, as I've told you guys before, I really started studying nutrition when I was 11. I started to really pay attention to food labels. I was a little fatter kid when I was very young. And once I kind of hit that growth spurt, because I was always an athlete, but it was something that was troubling me. Once I hit 8th grade and I started playing tackle football and I lost like 25, 30 pounds and I went from 5'8" to 6'1". So you can imagine my desire to never go back to that again. And so I've really made it my entire life dedicated to health and fitness. Now, you know, there's been some things along the way, some eating issues and some, I modeled. And so I have, what most people would have that are in fitness and in modeling in general, you're going to have some body dysmorphia and you're going to have some things to overcome, which, I mean, it's a never ending battle, but hunkering down, studying, overcoming your own things so that you can help others overcome that is kind of what I've tried to do. And I'm never ashamed to admit, because I don't care if you've got 10 followers online or 1 million. We're all humans. We should all work together and we should all realize that everybody is the same. Some people are just better at something than somebody else, but we've all got something special we're good at. And so what I try to give is the knowledge that I have to people that can help them. And now, I started doing videos in 2011 and nobody was really talking about the things I was talking about. I found peptides and SARMs and research chemicals at that time. And, I was talking about steroids, but I was trying to really educate people to not use them, but also provide an education to bodybuilders that were to try to teach them, hey, let's think long-term. Let's not abuse these. I understand you're going to, but let's, try to get this under control. And what it's evolved into is, me finally, after all those years being recognized, I spoke at the Mr. Olympia this year, which was a pinnacle for me because I was speaking to doctors and some of the most prestigious minds around the world. And not only did they accept me, but I mean, I'm working with a lot of them now. And it's humbled me even more some people would think, oh, I'm able to do this and that. It's made me so humble. And all I do is try to learn from every single person I can, something, anything. All these specialists help me to be versatile. So I can talk to you about a variety of different things and I can contribute that. And that's my goal, is to be knowledgeable on multiple facets and have mentors to go to help me when I don't have the answer, people that I trust. And so if we all work together and we do this, we stay humble, we feed off each other. I mean, the possibilities are endless on what we can improve, and I don't care what political side you're on. Let's face the facts. Right now is a time where we want to be on the forefront, because this is our opportunity to do things, alternative things that we never had before. So we have to do it right now, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, nor does anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal right now is all walks of life. Everybody, just remember one thing. This isn't about your belief system. This isn't about any politics. This is about the realities of the situations and what's going on with our food. It's not a conspiracy. It's not a lie. It's a proven fact. And we all have the statistics on disease, on things in foods, on corruption. And now is our one chance that has eluded us for however many years to take a stand, to put all the information out, to make that noise, and to really make an impact. And that's what I'm using my platform as now.
I love it. I love how in alignment we are with you, with what it is that you stand for. We have, we all have, we were just talking about that before coming on the air. We have similar backgrounds and how it is that we were brought up, reading Joe Weider publications or the Muscle and Fitness magazines. And so for the listeners, know that he's been in that world. And I'm curious, based on what it is that you know, the knowledge that you know now, how does that differ from, I guess, what was being taught in the past to these people who were reading the Muscle and Fitness magazine, trying to get big muscles? How have things changed from then to now?
Well, I mean, it in the scheme of things, some things haven't changed and some things have. So a lot of times back then, especially, it was shoving anything you can down your throat, no matter what it had in it. All of these weight gainers that are filled with these horrible ingredients, these fillers, but it doesn't matter because we're just getting big, and a lot of the training methods and things that were harmful to people, and trying to throw around as much weight as you can and thinking that's going to get you the biggest, when in reality, in the long run, it's going to really take away from your longevity, your health, and your overall gain quality, because you see a lot of these guys broken down, and it's for a variety of reasons. One is over steroid use, because what happens is using steroids at the levels they are, it puts you grow too fast, and it's putting strain and tension on your tendons and ligaments. And then you're eating so much on top of it, they're getting so big that it's crippling them later in life. It's not healthy. And a lot of the eating habits, I mean, eating pounds and pounds of chicken or meat is not really ideal. I am a big advocate of eating meat, and you guys know, we've talked about this. You got me eating fats that I was terrified of, but eating 10 and 20,000 calories is also not ideal,
That's insane.
Yeah.
Overloading on saturated fats like bad oils and things, and saying that it's okay to slam. A lot of these competitors will go, oh, I ate a whole pizza and ate 10 cheeseburgers at McDonald's. And it's like, hey, everybody needs a cheat meal, but this is not, we're going to mass extremes. And a lot of the bodybuilding stuff is going to extreme without any concept of tomorrow. Everything's right now. And I am a proponent, as you guys are, of longevity, long-term thinking, and planning ahead. And our habits now are going to shape our life, in the future. And understanding and comprehending the importance of different macronutrients and the effects they have, just like I was talking to you guys about the low-fat diet, that the problem with that, and how that was such a thing in the 80s and 90s. And I have been guilty of this, even though I teach the complete opposite. Or now I've been in a dark hole for I mean, I'm 42 years old, and probably my middle 20s, I've been doing the same thing with this fear of fats. And within the past 3 to 4 weeks, I haven't felt this good since I was in high school.
Wow.
When I was eating like I was supposed to, I went from eating, I don't know, my only fat intake was from the serving of peanut butter I was slamming down every night. And now it's avocados, ground beef, my favorite go-to, my SCT oil.
Love it.
Absolutely.
My
Right back
daily
at you, my brother.
Yes.
Wonder Twin SCT oil powers activate.
You know what, though, I will tell you, and you guys know this. So you know how the marketing scheme is this MCT, the what is it, the brain stimulant or whatever they call it, the brain fuel.
But yeah, brain octane.
Brain octane and
yeah, caprylic acid.
But I'm telling you, I've tried that, and I've tried this. And the ability that I have now to stay focused for like 8 hours straight on the computer and not move, to where before it was like, with the lack of fats and carbs and everything else I wasn't getting, every 30 minutes I was getting up, walking around, not accomplishing anything. Yeah. And I'm telling myself, oh, you're doing good. You're doing good. In reality, I was doing terrible. I am running on like 5 hours of sleep every night because I can't sleep because I'm so antsy to get up. But look, I mean, right now I'm full of energy and life because I've fixed the diet and embraced what I was missing. And I'm more cut than I've been in years because I'm not taking anything right now and I'm that cut. So the evolution of understanding of diet and embracing, you know, it went from low fat to this low carb Atkins to keto to really now it's like, you know, I follow a combination of things. I like parts of the bulletproof diet. I like parts of certain diets. There are some part of the keto diet that I find okay, but I'm not a proponent of that. You guys know that because I don't feel it's sustainable. I want sustainability, and I think everybody, if they're thinking long-term, you should think of sustainable diets. Now, you could do some cycling if you want and everything like that. I'm fine with it. But I like longevity. And I like something that you can continue to do and stay healthy on and be consistent with. Yeah,
well said, sir. I was going to jump in really quick, unless you got a follow-up question there, Dr. Rob.
Well, I was just curious because, you know, we had talked about this. I think we had even talked about it on your podcast, how we got picked up for the documentary, Your Second 50. I was curious, like, for people that can't see you right now, if you could say, so how old are you?
42.
42. And the reason I asked the question is because you look like you're in your 20s.
Thank you.
So, and you have the energy of somebody who's in their teens. And I only bring that up because we've been so ingrained and taught that the older that you get, the slower you're going to get. The older that you get, you're going to look a certain way. So it's almost like, you know, you get over the age of 40 or 50, and it's almost just like, you know, written in stone that you're going to be on medication. You're going to have a doctor that you see on a regular basis. And, you know, just sitting here with the three of us right now, that's not the case for any of us.
Nope.
And so you absolutely are living what it is that you're preaching. And so I just, you know, want the listeners to know that, yeah, hey, listen to what this man is saying, because he looks like he has definitely found the fountain of youth. And I want to make sure that the listeners are getting the, you know, the secret to that fountain of youth. And I think that you definitely hold the key to making that happen for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. And I think, you know, that's a huge point there, because really, you know, I just turned 50 this last summer. You're 53.
53. I just turned 53.
Yeah, just turned 53. So it's like, you know, the real flex is really the next 50. And I'm not going out like most people are going out. And it's just not the way we should be ending our lives with chronic disease, illness, and medicated, living in fear, losing all of our muscle, right? Wasting away. Sarcopenic obesity is the number one really cause of death in the elderly, because they lose all their muscle, they gain body fat, their hormones are a wreck, and they fall and break a bone or injure themselves, end up in the hospital, and they never get out. So I think protein is a very, very important macronutrient. Can't deny. Obviously, fats, proteins, carbohydrates. But I think you made a point earlier, and I think it's a mistake some people could be making, a metabolic mistake. And I think I was guilty of this. As we've talked before, when I got out of high school, I was reading all the muscle mags and I was training like to be a bodybuilder. I'm eating 6-7 times per day, and every meal is going to have, 30, 40, 50 grams of protein. So I'm getting 250, 300 grams of protein a day, eating all day long. One of the reasons I was doing that is so I could secrete insulin, which we know can be a bulking hormone to make me really big, and then working out just nonstop to build all the muscle. The problem I think I ran into is, number one, all that snacking and eating, forcing my body to be bigger than what it should have been, really wasn't a good longevity strategy, right? And consuming 250 to 300 grams of protein a day, I don't know that my body could even utilize any of that. Plus, I wasn't on steroids. So, maybe if I was on steroids, I kind of used more of that and repaired, but I was a natural guy getting up to, that 185, maybe 190, where now I carry around, 165 to 170. But my story, and our audience knows my story. Training that way, eating that much food, snacking all the time, ended up getting me in a situation where I was diagnosed with late stage cancer. And you could probably testify to this. It's not uncommon to see a lot of people in that industry on the back end of this thing. They don't do well, and they don't look very good.
No, they don't age well. They break down. They find themselves constantly in rehabilitation, constantly into the doctors. And one of the things that I have talked about endlessly, and I'm going to hammer it home, and I will continue to hammer it home until I can't hammer it home anymore, is the importance of monitoring your blood work at a young age and having precise numbers. I don't care if you have a symptom, because a symptom could be a problem in a variety of ways. A lot of symptoms are the same for X, Y, and Z. I want precise numbers, and I want a good hold on that, because when it's too late, it's too late. A lot of people, they don't check things, and then to their shock, they go in and they may feel okay, or they may not, but they go in and it's like, oh my gosh, this is this far ahead, and it could be either a very difficult road to recovery or one you just don't recover from. And I talk about really digging in and doing your own studying, or this is what I do, is people hire me just to help them optimize their hormones and their health. And most doctors do not test the necessary things that you need tested. These are comprehensive tests. I am such a big proponent on especially the cardiac comprehensive test, with all of the actual areas of cholesterol that need to be tested. And you have to be stringent and careful about just accepting a medication here, a medication there, because as you guys know, if you have a slightly elevated cholesterol, it's statin time. If you have a bad day and you go in and say you're depressed, well, it's time to put you on an antidepressant. And that's why you have zombies walking around and people saying they've got mental health because they had a rough patch. And this is where some of the biohacking things come in that I've taken, the great leap on, is a lot of health starts with yourself, being happy with yourself, being aware of yourself and understanding yourself, going out for walks in the morning. For me, it's prayer. If that's not, it's okay if that's not you, maybe it's meditating, but deep thinking, spending some time in thought and understanding yourself. Once you find yourself and you don't have stress, which can increase cortisol, which can then lead to other problems, that's the first key. Then it's the diet, then it's the training. I will argue, and I argue this like competitors, they ask me, what's your breakdown here of importance when it comes to PEDs, diet, and training? And I will always say diet is, and I may be a little low on this, but I say 75 to 80%, training 10 to 15, and supplements, PEDs, steroids, whatever it may be, 2.5 to 5%. That is like once you've reached your peak, you do that to get to just where you can't take it. But it really starts within, and then it's really diet. And that's the hardest thing for people, is diet. And I get it. But once you start eating well and you see how you feel, like I do right now, it is like I look forward to stuff I never thought I'd look forward to. I look forward to avocados. I look forward to like my my coffee with the SCT and I put some cacao in there. I look forward to the ground beef, which I haven't had in 15 years. Thanks to you guys, I started eating it every day, and once you embrace things and you see and you try, but you have to try and you have to test things, and everything in life is trial and error. And I say that to everybody, but once you embrace it and you try it and you see how you feel, I mean, you have to get these things out of your head. You can't listen to, just because I get this, well, they're huge, so they know what they're talking about, but they don't. They don't. Just because somebody's huge, anybody can eat 10,000 calories, take a bunch of steroids, and get huge. I mean, if you got genetics and you work out hard, you can.
Yeah.
But where does that leave you later? So you got to monitor your blood work. You got to try to find something that works for you. Be consistent and make sure that you're really finding yourself and not getting too stressed, and learning how to cope, and things that you can do during the day that will keep your mind focused and at ease. And I'm telling you, some of this stuff with biohacking, it sounds like it's common sense, but it's hard for people to do. Like, I get up every morning now and I go for a 20-30 minute walk, and it changes my whole day. You know what I mean? It's amazing. A few prayers, a walk, and I'm ready to go. And it's the simplest little things, but you have to do it and make time for it.
And yeah, agreed. Point well taken. And you said it a couple of times, but I'm actually a little concerned, because my whole life growing up, and I would look at these different magazines and look at all these bodybuilders, and I always thought that was natural. You're telling me now that there was actually steroids happening. The next thing you're going to tell me is that the WWE is fake.
and then next you're going to tell me that He-Man was on steroids. Surely not He-Man. Surely not He-Man.
He-Man. So I don't know. I'm not going to say anything bad about him, but I will tell you this.
Yeah.
I would say 100% of those people in the magazines were on steroids.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better.
We don't have to beat
about
ourselves
myself now.
up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a question about that. So let's, because this is that's been your world. What are then some of the misconceptions around SARMs, steroids, other supplements in that bodybuilding world? I'm just curious about that.
Well, there's a lot. First of all, a lot of people don't understand using steroids at a young age, what exactly it's going to do to you. And I have this battle constantly. Yeah. Well, my blood work's okay. Well, this and that. Well, guess what? You're stunting you're turning off your growth plates immediately. You're setting yourself up for fertility problems. I don't want to have kids. Well, guess what? You may not want to now, but when you meet somebody and you evolve in your life and you grow up and you mature and you find a wife and then you can't have kids, she could resent you or just not want to be with you. And you could be miserable too, ruin your own life. So these are things that you have to understand. Also, a lot of people just assume that they don't understand the side effects that go along with certain steroids. So for instance, an oral steroid, it goes through a process which is called C17 alpha alkylation. And what that does is you take it orally, and that allows it to pass through your liver so it'll work. Otherwise, your liver is going to break it down and it's not going to work. But by doing that, it's a methylated procedure, meaning that it's thrashing your liver, your kidneys, your cholesterol, your blood pressure, other organs. And then what happens is, your liver's resilient, right? But it's only resilient to a certain extent. And you keep hammering it and hammering it and hammering it. And then you know what happens over time? People get cirrhosis of the liver. They find scarring. These are things that will kill you.
Sure.
They will actually kill you, or you may need a kidney transplant, or you could have hypertension develop. These are all things that happen when you suppress your natural testosterone levels just by using, exogenous testosterone. Well, guess what? You're going to end up being on TRT, because all of these post-cycle therapies that you try to run, you don't recover. You don't.
Yeah. Wow.
And then on top of that, with your post-cycle therapy, you're running Clomid, you're running Novadex. These are fertility medications and breast cancer medications, right? That's not something that you want to be taking or staying on. Aromatase inhibitors that you're using to control estrogen. Guess what? You crush your estrogen, you're in a bigger problem than having it slightly elevated. So there's a lot of problems there. A lot of people think like you take a steroid and that you're going to wake up and be Mr. Olympia. It's like when Tom Hanks in the movie Big made a wish and woke up big. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. First of all, if you take steroids and you have an elevated body fat, guess what? You're at a higher risk for estrogen conversion. Chances are at a higher body fat, not everybody, but 99% of the people probably already have cholesterol problems, probably have higher estrogen, probably have a ton of other problems, and you're only exacerbating those. So maybe you do get in a little better shape and condition, but guess what? You've ruined your health even worse than it already was. People will use things like clenbuterol for fat loss. Well, guess what? Clenbuterol is great for fat loss, but it'll damage your heart short and long term, and you can't take it forever. So once you stop taking it, not only do you gain the weight back, you probably gain more weight back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could go on for probably 7 days straight on all of the misconceptions and problems. Now, you've got options like SARMs, for example, that some, I can argue are far, far less strain on your body, but now they're developing them where they're just the same as steroids. Now, I'm a big proponent of, I was always known as a SARMs guy, SARMs expert, and I still do believe in them, but I'm way more big of a proponent on peptides now, because these are things that are generally naturally produced within your body. They're just amino acid chains, and there's a slew of them that work. Now, your GLP-1s, I will argue that they have a benefit, but they're just blatantly misused. Your Ozempics, your tirzepatides, and now rituatides, and I'm going to write a book on those, a short ebook on these. The problem is, and you guys, I'm sure you'll understand this, we live on a concept of more is always better. And okay, so this works good, 20 milligrams, let's do 30. Let's do 40. Let's do 50. Well, guess what? It's just like you take too much, like certain vitamins, they'll get toxic. You take too much ibuprofen, it's going to be toxic. More is not always better. Oftentimes with steroids and PEDs and supplements, more is often worse. So you just have to understand these are not magic. You have to train hard. You got to eat right. And you got to be very, very, very careful. If you got pre-existing conditions, a lot of the questions I'll get on my YouTube is this a good cycle to run? Well, shit, I don't know. I don't know without you. And if I just start throwing out cycles and things like that, I have no credibility nor care, because if I'm just telling you what you want to hear as opposed to what you need to hear, I'm going to hurt you. So I've taken a lot of grief over the years in the fitness community because I'm not Mr. Tell You What You Want. Because I actually do care. But in the biohacking community, I am like beloved so quickly because I am like, this my people. You know what I mean? And I found that. But I will still do my best with all my fitness people to give them the proper education. Some will accept it and some will just think I'm an asshole and I can't help it. So.
Well, you're definitely not an asshole. That is for sure. But listen, here's the reality. And we talk about this a lot, Dylan, with our own clients and our messaging and on all of our platforms is about how, if your metabolism isn't strong and healthy, a lot of the things that you're doing are going to only get you so far, especially when we start talking about the biohacking world. How many times you show up at a biohacking event and you see a lot of people there who are spending all this time and money on biohacking, yet they still don't look very healthy. So you can't biohack yourself out of a screwed up, wrecked metabolic profile, which is where you want to always lay down a foundation, right? And so that's been our message. Let's lay down a strong metabolic foundation. Let's get you insulin sensitive. Let's get you fat adapted. Let's create real metabolic flexibility. And once that's been done, now, lifestyle comes into play and biohacking can play a role. I'm curious, what are some of your favorite biohacking strategies that somebody could implement after they've actually put the work in and healed their metabolism? Not the cart before the horse.
Right. Yeah. So, biohacking is a funny thing, first of all. And I think that
I've had a real resistance to that word, by the way, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit, because it's like you don't really hack. I'm not wanting to hack my health, right?
No, here's the thing. I'll tell you what I hate about the term, but what I love about the concept.
Okay.
So, when Bitcoin came out and everybody made it so difficult and it was this and that, and they didn't understand it because nobody really explained it. if you think about what biohacking really, really is, all it is taking control of your own health. I mean, that's really all it is. Biohacking is a variety of things. It can be something, because people will say, oh, well, these biohacking conventions I go to, there's these $1,000 machines that I need to do and get this and that. No. Those are options that you certainly could implement. I mean, biohacking is wearing an Apple Watch and monitoring your calories and being in tune with everything. But biohacking is also what I said, getting up in the morning and going for a walk and getting sunlight, which we need, and embracing the earth, not what man has done with the earth, what God gave the earth.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm talking about looking at your surroundings, looking at the grass, looking at the land around you. Granted, I live in Iowa, and I've always been like, oh, this farmland and this is so boring. I walk around now and I'm looking around and I'm, man, this is beautiful. This was given and created here. And man has ruined so much of it. But if you get out and appreciate the elements, that's a biohack. That's a biohack. You know, shocking your body. Everybody's got their differences on cold waters and things, but if you take that second to get under the cold water, embrace it, and then feel it and let it hit you, I love it. I really do. I find that it helps. You know, sitting in front of the infrared light or sauna, that helps. It's all things that you can do that aren't commonly talked about. Now, obviously, for me, peptides are a huge biohack because they're not general medicine, and now they're being accepted because people see. You know, nobody wants you to see that, because doctors and insurance companies want to put all of this garbage down you without the reality of there's real things that can help. Biohacking is working out and exercising properly, lifting smarter, not heavier, right? And diet is biohacking your diet by actually fixing your metabolism, like you said, and then figuring it out and then implementing it and enjoying how you feel, and realizing, man, these foods are good, you know? And like I said, biohacking is so, for instance, maybe journaling what you're thankful for at the end of the day. Or for me, it's, I wake up, I thank God I'm alive. When I go to bed, I thank God for the day. And every time I leave the gym, I thank God for allowing me, because I know what it's like when I can't work out, you know, and how miserable I am. Thank you for letting me do what I love to do, to be able to take care of myself. That's biohacking right there, because that is providing you with appreciation. And when you have appreciation inside, then you're able to feel better, and that makes you healthier. You know,
okay, I love biohacking now. You convinced me. That's the best explanation I've ever gotten. There we go. Dave Asbury, move aside, my man. We got Dylan Gamelli right here, man. That's what it's really all about.
You know, if people get fearful of terms, and a lot of times terminology can stereotype certain things. And if somebody would actually break it down and explain what it all is, not just what you think it is, it becomes quite clear. It's not difficult at all, but you need somebody to mentor or explain it properly and put you in the right position. And then it's easy to do. It really is.
Oh yeah. I mean, all the biohacking stuff has been around since the beginning of time, right? Yeah. It's light, sound, vibration, frequency, nutrients. It's really just the whole biohacking thing. If even listening to you talk about it, I'm just like, you know what? It's just a more efficient way to be able to achieve healthy longevity.
Right.
And then you've got to have somebody that can be able to guide you there. So you're not going to a biohacking conference where you have 250 booths all selling all kinds of different things. You have no idea what it is that you're doing, because every single one of those booths is going to tell you that, hey, using this right here is the secret to longevity. This right here is the fountain of youth. And so it's overwhelming, quite frankly. And so having somebody like you that can be able to put that together for someone is huge. That's key. And I love that. Yeah. Thanks for explaining that.
A lot of these conferences, when you go, and it's just like at the Mr. Olympia when I'm there, there's booths everywhere and people are selling their things. And there's some things that are really good. And then there's other people that have bad motives. But what I really like to do is go to the talks and the conferences and listen to all of these minds talk and gather information. And I mean, even right here, as much as I do peptides. I'm reading this now. William Seeds is the man on peptides, but I study this stuff. I do. I'm getting certifications everywhere I can, and it's my craft. And so a lot of people put out information and think they know everything. I know I don't know everything. So my goal is to gather as much as I can, to provide as much as I can with as much accuracy, and to be as credible as possible and have the right motive in doing it. And I think that's what it's all about. And the more people that do that, I am far from perfect, and I have made a million mistakes, but I try my best to atone for that and help everybody the best I can. And that's what we need, is more people that have that kind of concept. Look, everybody's got to make money. Anybody that thinks that you can't, you're not trying to sell something. It's when you're doing something where everybody wins, where nobody loses, where nobody's being taken advantage of, and you're actually helping somebody and you put your name and your brand behind it because you care. That's what I'm all about. And I know you guys are too. And that's why I love talking to you and being around you. And, you know, I've been around such bad business in the fitness industry, guys. Like I've seen so many terrible things, and I've partaken in it at my younger years, and it makes me sick to my stomach to ever think that I ever did. You know, I'm big on going to confession, and I told my pastor, you know, what I was doing with some of the business practices. And as soon as he told me, you know, why you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't make comments about other companies or anything. And as soon as I stopped doing that, man, I mean, everything just changed. It really did. Just the smallest little thing. And we need more people that do that. And I'm not perfect, and I make mistakes, but I really try hard to be as professional and as credible as possible. And I wish more people would do that.
Yeah, authenticity, right? In a social media world where everything feels fake and curated and choreographed and disingenuous. So, man, you built such a massive following on social media. You guys need to go follow this guy. But I think one of the reasons that you have is because of this conversation that we're having. Everything's on the table with you, man. And you're humble, you're hungry, you want to learn, you want to grow, and you want to help other people. So kudos to you, my man.
Yeah, I'm curious. You were talking about, even just, you know, as you've been talking, but just been listening to, you know, you've been really recreating yourself, you know, throughout the years and evolving. I'm curious, what's something that maybe you used to believe in, that you used to believe was true, and then now you know, okay, maybe that wasn't true, and this right here is my new belief system in that? Because I think for so many people, we've been taught one thing and we believe that our entire life to be true, and that thing that we thought that, you know, to be true could actually be killing us. And so what's one of those false beliefs that you had believed to be true before and now it's not?
I'll tell you what my biggest one is the personal struggle that I've given you guys and talked to you about, which you definitely played a role in helping me with, was my total fear of fats, and that it was going to make me fat, and that it was going to hurt me and hinder me. And I mean, just this utter fear of eating anything. I mean, I got to the point where it's like, all I'm eating all day is 12 to 13 servings of vegetables, egg whites, and oatmeal, and that's about it, peanut butter. And once I realized how wrong and how much better, and how your body will just metabolize that fat and eat through it, and the energy that it's burning through it, and how good I feel. I mean, that alone, and that's on me because I knew better. And that was my own personal demons that I've been dealing with forever: eating disorders, body dysmorphia, everything. If there was one thing I could change personally about myself, oh my gosh, if I would have done this sooner. However, that gives me the ability to teach people my mistakes and to show them. And I don't do this go back. It's kind of like when you go to confession, you admit a sin and then you keep going back to it. But that's really a sin in itself, right? Because you've been forgiven. So if I'm to go back and keep beating myself up over time lost or mistakes I made, I'm not going to get any better. I'm not going to help anybody, and I'm not going to help myself. Or I can teach people the mistakes I made, the misconceptions I had, fix myself, and help everybody else fix themselves by embracing it and showing them. You know what I've done? What I can't stand, I don't want to say hate, what I despise is when somebody goes, well, you just don't understand. it's I'm different. And that's what I was doing,
Yeah.
you know? And I woke up, I went in and I told my wife, I swear to you, because she's just looking at me like, because I know the poor thing, she's had to deal with me and go through never eating out and me being so particular and just making, I'm sure she will never say it out loud, God bless her, but I'm sure it made her miserable. I went in there and I said, hey, cut me an avocado. And she just looked at me like, huh? And I said, also, I want to get some ground beef today and I want to try this and I want to do this and I want to do this. And I mean, she's just like, and I can see, because she will do anything for me, loves me endlessly, but I can see the joy in her right now for two reasons. One, probably because she's not so damn miserable by my two, she sees my attitude change. Because you know what, guys? I will personally admit I have been a dick for so many years. Like when I mean like impatient and I mean quick to just be like, hey, like that. And I am just like the total polar opposite. And it's all because I changed the way that I was eating and my patterns and everything is so different. So, I mean, that alone right there, you have to be willing to make those changes and understand it's not always, oh, I'm just the one that's different, or you just don't understand. Everybody's going through something and everybody has it. If we're telling you something or it's being put out there, there's a reason. There's a reason. And so I'm thankful for you guys' help with that and some other people that kind of helped me. Thomas DeLauer had put out some great things, especially that I followed, that helped me too along that. But when I talked to you guys about metabolism and not counting calories and a lot of the beliefs that you had when I talked to you before our podcast, that played a huge role for me personally. I swear, and I'm not just saying that because I'm here or that I need to make you feel good. It's a fact. It's a major fact. And my wife will attest to it because I told her, and she said she listened to us talk, in the other room when we were talking. And that was when I told you guys, she's just like, man, that's one of the best conversations I've ever heard you have.
That's awesome feedback. No, that's and hey, listen, you're welcome. We believe in you, man. We support you. And, it's always fun to have healthy conversations and even maybe discourse around certain topics. That's really how you learn. It seems like sometimes we've gotten to a place where nobody's willing to take a stand or even disagree respectfully. So now we've been blessed to kind of have these conversations. And what's cool about it is the things you've been implementing, you're seeing an immediate change. And that's really how quickly things can change in your life. Sometimes just taking that step and moving forward and making those implementations into your life, it's not a 6-month journey. The second you start making healthy changes is the second it can start turning around. So I'm loving the feedback on how you're loving SCT oil and not being scared of fats. They're not the boogeyman.
Yeah, I think that's a great
unless they're seed oil.
Yeah, it's a great testament just to who you are. Yeah. Not being so proud to say, hey, it's my way or the highway. We need more people like that. Just a great testimony of you just like surrendering to going, you know what? There could be a different way to do this and being able to get those results. So I think that right there is going to be something that somebody listening to the podcast today is going to go, holy shit. I used to believe that as well. Maybe if I could just surrender to that, I could be able to have the same health, or level of health as this guy does right here. And that right there, I think is huge. It's one of the coolest things that I've heard anybody say here on the podcast, and really believe that that's going to transform somebody's life. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah. I think it's very important to humanize everybody. I don't care. Like I said, I have a lot of followers. I am not special. I am not. I am just, I do what I do. I want to make sure that people know, no matter who it is you're looking at, everybody's got their own problems. Everybody's got things that they need to overcome. It might be small, it might be huge, but we all have it. And the people that are willing to talk about it are the ones that are the most helpful, that I admire the most. And because I hold that admiration for people, I want to be that way as well. It's very important to me I am very accountable and I'm very willing to admit mistakes. And I think the more you're willing to do that, the more accomplished that you'll be and the healthier you'll be in general. So just some things that I live by and that I find to be the most respectful as a human in general.
Yeah, the ability to unlearn and then relearn something in a new way. And the older you get, hopefully that evolves and comes with you. But I look back now, you'd probably agree. I know you do. I think about a lot of the things that I always believed that I had to unlearn because they just weren't true. And I really didn't know why I believed them. And so I love that about you as well. I'm excited about more of these conversations as we keep challenging each other and unlearning and relearning and continuing to grow. And then, of course, once you know it all, that's when real learning actually begins.
100%. I couldn't agree more. I will say this too, and I'm not trying to plug your products, but I really like this thermostat.
Yeah.
I've been taking it for almost 2 weeks now, and
okay,
you're going to have to keep supplying me with that because I like it too much. So
the thermostat, man, that's actually, it's a really interesting product we developed. The whole idea around it, all of our products are all functional metabolic support products. So obviously SCT oil supports the gut brain axis with metabolic health. Short chain fatty acids are essential. Your body makes them, but most people's microbiome is a wreck. The thermostat works great too because it really heightens the autophagy in the body. So clearing out old dead tissue, helping get rid of the senescent zombie cells so your body can actually make brand new cells, tap into stem cell, anti-age. So I'm glad. You've only been on it 2 weeks. Yeah, wait till you've been on it about a good month and report back. I think you'll have even more feedback. But yeah, we appreciate it because, man, you've taken probably every supplement that's ever existed. So to get a thumbs up on the thermostat product, that's like, whoa.
I started, one of my mentors taught me chemistry in about 3-4 months when I was 30 years old. And I studied and I studied and I studied and I learned everything about supplements. I learned how to make, fat burners, muscle builders, anything. I used to just create different types of products and sell the formulas to people, or I'd develop a brand and sell it off because I didn't want to continuously do my own. And it is just amazing if you do it right. If you actually do it right. Now, it always costs more to do it right. And that's why a lot of people don't want to do it right because of the price points. And I get that. But if you do it right, there's a lot of things that can work. The problem is people don't want to go through the FDA regulation or the facility or whatever the case may be. A lot of these products, they're not regulated. You might see it like a product that says that you're getting 5 milligrams a capsule. You might get 1 milligram a capsule and one with 10 in it. You know what I mean? Or they might be just full of fillers. You just don't know what you're getting. So I guess I implore people to be aware, of what you're taking and what you're doing, and make sure it's something credible. Because I have seen it. When I tell you I've seen it all, I have seen it all. Unfortunately, but fortunately, so then I can educate people. So just be careful is all I'm going to say,
Yeah. You got to come down to Texas and come see us, man. We'll take you out to our manufacturing facility. You can take behind the scenes there, what we're doing out here. We'd love to have you out. So open invitation. Anytime you will come out to Dallas, Texas, man, you come see us.
Dallas, Texas. That's where I just sent my wife. That's where my stepson is, my grandson. So I will certainly take you up on that.
All right.
Let's do it. So before we wrap up, we're just curious, looking ahead into the future, what is it that you are most excited about looking into the future? What are some project that you're really excited about? Where you at with that?
I'll tell you right now, I have known this since I was a child, that I had something special that I was supposed to do. I have been trying to discern that for the last year, especially as I've really kind of put God first in my life. And I have been kind of forcing things, trying to find it and really trying to find it. And I told you guys, I went to Mr. Olympia and I was on cloud 9, like, oh my gosh, I just accomplished all of this. And I came home and I got COVID. And instead of being depressed like I was going to be, like, why is this happening? I got all this momentum. I got all these things lined up. That's when I sat and I said, you know what? I'm going to trust there's a reason why this happened. And I sat and I read and I looked and I realized, man, you have finally figured this out and you are in this biohacking space. Now, you may not be the term biohacker, but you have a serious role in what's about to take place. And that is a change in our entire system, the way that everything's being put out in light. Because I will always say this till the day I die. Anything that's been in the dark will always be brought to the light. And all of this stuff is being exposed right now. And I guarantee you that I am going to be at the forefront of this right now. I have a platform that I will use. I will not be silenced. I will not back down. I will not step down. I will stand up, and I will stand up against all of this tyranny and all this bullshit. And I will take anybody who wants to come with me alongside of me, or I'll do it by my damn self. But I am going to utilize every ounce of everything that I've learned and everything that I have to teach people how to improve their health, what to look out for, and expose everything that I know to be wrong. Because that's what I'm supposed to do. That's the ability that I was given. And I'm not going to waste any more time now that I figured out what it is I'm supposed to do. And anybody can say whatever they want. I know, because I listen to the Holy Spirit, and I know what's being given to me and what's guiding to me, and I will do that. And that's why I want to collaborate with people like yourself, because I know that if the people that have it do it together, which is what we're supposed to do, and you can go back to the beginning of time and understand the word and people gathering together in his name, well, people that are gathering together to do his work, which is this, is what we're supposed to do. And I guarantee you that I will do it.
I love it. A 3-chord strand cannot be broken, my brother.
Exactly right.
I love that about you too, man. Your faith, your walk with God, and how that's become back into your life more than ever before. No coincidence there that now the vision is becoming more clear. I think we could all model that right there. I think the world probably, I love the MAGA movement. I love the Maha movement, but the real movement is we need to make America godly again. That's right. How we really begin to change stuff, because he's at the heart of it all. So thanks for sharing your faith there, because our audience and us, we're right there with you, bro.
Absolutely, man. 100,000,000%. And I appreciate any platform extra that I can have, or any contribution that I can have to provide. I am all about it. And I always will make time to help people understand that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We love that. And we've got one more question for you. But before we ask you the question, because you have no idea what it is, is how can people find you?
So I try to keep it very consistent. It's all just at Dylan Gamelli. And I have a huge Instagram where you can find me. And I do try to respond as much as I possibly can. I do my very best. X, Facebook, TikTok, I post on there. You're not going to catch me interacting there. It's not my thing. I just use it to. My YouTube channel right now is called PE Fitness. It will be rebranding to Dylan Gamelli Biohacking. And I have, if you just Google my name, I have press releases, and you can find me on everything. And I'll have a press release when that rebrands, but I'm pretty easy to find.
Awesome. And we'll put that in the show notes as well. So thank you so much. And here's the question. All right. So what does being happy, healthy mean to you?
To me, I would say, and I brought this up before, being in tune with yourself and being happy with yourself. It all starts there. And then implementing the proper diet and training strategy. But it starts with your own personal happiness. But I will say it's very difficult to be happy if you're not eating well and taking care of yourself well too. And, it all comes from within. But that, to me, is what it is to be happy and healthy.
Awesome. Yeah, perfect answer. I love it, man. Well, hey, listen, you are part of the happy, healthy family, my brother.
Always.
Thank you for this time. We'll do this again, and we could probably create content for days. But we'll pause it for now. But we'll be back soon. And man, just thanks again for everything that you do, for your heart and for your vision. And we love you, bro.
I love you guys too, and pleasure's all mine.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks again for being here. And thank you for listening. To our listeners, our viewers, thank you for listening to the Happy Healthy Life. You can send any questions over to us on Instagram at the H2 Life. And we love hearing from you. Like the show, share it, comment on it, and just let us know what you think. Let us get your feedback.
God bless you guys.
Day.
Thanks for listening to the Happy Healthy Life podcast. If you enjoy the show, make sure to follow them on Instagram at the H2 Life or on YouTube and Facebook at the Happy Healthy Guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts.